It's time for Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Forget the coronavirus. Why can't we all just agree? This is Wretched Radio. Squabbling, fighting,
what are we agreeing on?
Well, there have been some agreements in human history. Far more differences, however, and it is not just social issues, headlines, what's going on our planet. It's in the church. Why don't people see things my way? It would solve so many problems. I hear people complaining about their situations. You could have called me. I hear people that are confused about what's going on in the world. Just send me a text. I can help you out. If you would just follow everything I think and everything I believe, we'd all get along swimmingly, but that seems to be the problem. Doesn't it? Forget coronavirus. We seem to be having some disagreements in that territory, don't we? Let's talk about the church, specifically issues like worship. Well, there's a perennial. That's an evergreen battleground, isn't it? We fight over worship, the style of music, the order of worship, so liturgical issues. How much praying do we do? Reading of the Bible. How long is the sermon? What about the architecture of the building that we're in? How's about the design of the foyer or foyer if it's a really cheap one? I think that's the difference. If it's really nice, it's a foyer. It's sort of like the difference between a vase and a vase. If it's over $1, it's a vase, said
Eccentric
my grandmother.
Or merely weird.
That's if you're rich, you're eccentric.
You're eccentric.
If you're not, you're just strange is what you are. How do we perhaps not agree on all issues? That's a different conversation. But how do we at least get along when we don't agree? Might I suggest it begins by at least understanding why we don't agree on everything? Once again, this kills me to say, Ken Ham is right. We find an answer in Genesis. It's the fall. We're broken brain people. Our cognitive functioning, it is kafritz. Our memory, gefilte fish. What? Our memories are so bad.
How bad are they?
Forget coronavirus. Why can't we all just get along? If you've got a problem, just text me. Just got an issue, give me a call. See, I don't even remember what I said a few seconds ago. That's how bad our memories are. That's why you have to just beat it into your brain and study for exams. It's all an effect of the fall. Our processing unit needs help. It needs rewiring. That is why this is I think Romans 12, 1 and 2, profoundly helpful, contemporary. So this would be like the Message Bible of Romans 12, 1 and 2. What Steve Jobs is to Apple, God is to you. Steve designed apples to work with Apple software, Apple programming. They don't work right or at all. God designed you. If your brain isn't operating on his system, the Bible, then it doesn't work right, if at all. We need reprogramming. We need rewiring. We need new downloaded information. And even then, we can come up with differences of opinion on how to handle issues, how we deal with a public story. There's so many big things that happen in evangelical Christianity, the big breaking news stories. And how many differences of opinion do we have on those? They don't stop. And so we tend to get mad at one another, argue with one another, and not have the unity that is praise to God. It's Romans 15, 5 and 6. That we will with one voice glorify God. God is unified. The Trinity doesn't squabble. They don't get annoyed with one another. We're God's image bearers, and when we squabble, we're not acting like him. When we disagree, we are not acting like him. And when we don't glorify him. This is a bigger deal than I think we realize. So let us begin with taking a little self-examination, shall we? The issues before us are things like liturgy, worship style, the architecture of a building. You and I are in the same church, and we've got to go to a meeting, and we've got to make a decision on these things. inevitably we're going to have a difference of opinion, and I'm going to go home going, what is the matter with? Why don't they? This is so obvious. And it's obvious to you. What's the difference? Let me ask you to rate this, perhaps on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give you a list of human experiences that you have, and I would like for you to answer these things on a scale of 1 to 10, if we can do it that way numerically. Music. What type of music do you like? If you like, let's just say on the one side, it's just contemporary music. That's all you like. That's a 1. A 10 is you love classical music. That's your thing. That's Mrs. Friel. She goes like on a power walk, and she puts her earbuds in and listens to Baroque. That'll get you pumped up. Well, it does. She just digs it. That's what she likes. So let's say she's a 10 because it's Baroque, and you like Leonard Skinner. You're a 1. And I'm not saying which one is better or worse. Just saying that's the scale. All right, what type of music do you like? Give yourself a number. Style of music. What is your vocal range? You're a 1 because you're like me. You've got about 3 notes in you, and they're really low. Versus, your vocal range is all over the place. How's about your ability to read music? How's about your ability to just sing intuitively? Are you a 1 or are you a 10? How's about this question? How do you learn? Is it visually? Is it just very cognitive? Just give me boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom, ba-da, boom. Outline this thing for me. Which style of learning do you like? What is your attention span? Are you a gnat like me? Or, sometimes I can sit and listen to something and it's like, 3 hours later, I forgot to actually get up and take a walk. My legs have fallen sound asleep. Where are you at? Where is your life at? Is it pretty calm right now? Or is it pretty chaotic? What season of life are you in right now? Are things very new and fresh and exciting? So you're coming into adulthood, and so you're exploring and experiencing all these new things. You're contemplating marriage. You get to go. You've got your own credit card. Or are you at the other end of the spectrum where life it's coming to an end pretty soon? Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you have children? Let's just say we're using numerical scale for the sake of a point. And you've got no kids, so you're a 1. You're a homeschool family, so you have 8 to 12. Then you're a 10. All right. So you're giving yourself, based on experiences in life, where you're at in life, you're putting it on a numeric scale. Now, how did you score? Add up all of your numbers, and what number did you come up with? So I'm just going to say, based on this rather arbitrary scoring system, Tony got a 42, Joey is a 64, and I'm 108. Now, again, this isn't like who's got the highest number. The point is that we've got different numbers. Now, it comes to the floor. Let's talk about building this building. What type of building are we going to build? And what type of seating are we going to have? And what type of music are we going to play? And what sort of liturgy are we going to have? And let the games begin. I know what I'd like, and I think it's right. Why? Because I had a score of 108. Tony, he wants something radically different because what was your score, Tony? 42? Is that what you were?
Yeah, sure.
42. All right, again, it's not who's got the highest score. It's that they're different scores. It's Tony likes a particular style of music. He's going to push for that. No, I'm not trying to do that. Well, actually, we do. We all have a self-interest in all of these things, and our brains, which are broken, are informed by life experiences and preferences, what we've seen, what we've enjoyed, where we were at when it happened, whether it was a good experience or a bad experience, where we're at with a season in life. Kids, what type of music would the kids like? That's what's important to me. I got a bunch of kids. I want to keep these kids coming versus somebody who doesn't have kids and they just love the Baroque. So they want the high music. You got a bunch of kids and they're like, if we've had that kind of music, then the kids aren't going to like it. And that is where the squabbles begin. How, however, do we make them end? That's the important question. because all of these things are going to be a part of our decision-making process. It is inevitable. And this is why we get frustrated with one another. You're calling a pastor. You can take all of those aforementioned questions, add a bunch more if you want to, and the reality is you're going to want a different type of pastor than I want because of where you're at, what your experiences and what your needs are, what your preferences. Is this guy an expositor? Does this guy tell a lot of stories? I need stories. I like stories. You don't even, maybe you're not even cognizant of it. I just need a lot of stories because I learn by stories. I hate stories. Just give me the facts, ma'am. I'm Jack Webb. Just give me the facts. We're going to want a different kind of pastor. And so it is, you and I are going to go to the mattresses on these subjects. And we are going to have battle royals over these subjects unless we learn how to learn why it is that we disagree. We'll do that next on Wretched Radio.
Well, thank you, Carol. I can't wait to try some of that low-sodium peppermint lasagna. Sounds delicious. Let's get to the weather, shall we? As you can see, we are going to have a massive warm front moving its way up the eastern seaboard, expecting temperatures upper 90s and low 100s. Unless, of course, you're outside of Christ. Then on Judgment Day, it is going to be hot. Back to you, Carol. Not only hot, weeping, gnashing of teeth. And so thirsty, your tongue's going to be stuck to the roof of your mouth. You're just going to wish for a storm to come through, which you folks down in the south can be expecting on Wednesday.